How you doing? Anyway, just want to show you this is a piano here that we're in front. This is my video. This is my piano / library room, whatever. But anyways, this is part 2 of a 2-part series. The first one I did last week, and in order for this to make sense, you really need to go back and see this one that I did about the caduceus, and really showing how this is hundreds of thousands of years old, and that it really emanated from this guy, Enki, who was an Anunnaki. What's an Anunnaki? Well, Moses called them Nephilim. Nephilim and Anunnaki mean the same thing. It means those who from the heavens came. And in fact, Moses said that they're the same thing, because if you go to Numbers 13 verse 32, it will tell you that Moses will tell you that Anunnaki and Nephilim are the same. Now in the King James Version of the Mosaic text, they call them giants, but really it means those who from the heavens came. And we showed you, this is his wife, Ninmah, who with Enki created humans. How did they do that? By manipulating DNA, probably from the highest evolved primates, which probably was Australopithecus. And you can see the symbol of the snake right there. If I was stuck on a desert island with this lady, I'd kill the guy making a boat. Anyways, I digress. Last time we talked about how mankind was formed in the Abzu, which is an Akkadian word here in Africa, brought over here to the Mesopotamian area, what is now Iraq, in a place called Eden. Yes, Eden is a place. It's a place described in the Bible, Moses and Genesis, and also in the Akkadian text. And much of this that we get from the Akkadian text and Sumerian text comes from the Astrahasis. And the Astrahasis is on clay tablets like this. And this lasted thousands of years. Thankful for that. But now we're going to go all the way over to the other side of the world. This is Peru. And we're going to also make a snake or a serpent connection over there as well. This is Peru. This is the capital of Peru, Lima. This is Machu Picchu. We all know that. This is Cusco. This is a very sacred place, very old place. It's 13,000 foot elevation in the Andes. And that's where we're going to go. Now down here you see La Paz. This is Bolivia. And this is Lake Titicaca. Another very fascinating place. But I digress. Sorry. I went there with my friend Gary Rosenthal. Really cool guy. Gary Rosenthal, as you can see him here, he's touching a stone. Well, he can touch stones and he can tell who walked on it, what dog pissed on it, what dog crapped on it for the last 2,000 years. I touch a stone, I feel a stone. I'm a blunt instrument. Anyways, this was our destination. This is off the beaten trail. There's not very many people come here, certainly not tourists. But we were met here by a shaman, the real deal. He wouldn't take any money. I like that. Anyways, this picture was taken from the Cave of the Serpent. This is called the Temple of the Moon. It is in honor of the Cave of the Serpent. Well, why do they call this the Temple of the Moon? We'll get into that later. This is the entrance to the Cave of the Serpent. Down here you can't see it, but there's a carved carved stone of a snake. Inside, to the right, there's another carved snake. Here is a very interesting carved pattern. We'll get into that later. But this is the entrance. Once you get inside the cave, you see this. There's a hole on top where sunlight or moonlight can shine down. This is a beautifully carved table. You cannot move this table. You cannot even adjust this table. It is set perfectly. In fact, there's evidence of vitrification. What's that? That means whoever made this used energy so hot that glass was forming on the surface. And if you want to investigate this further, go to Google Cuzco, Temple of the Moon, or Cave of the Serpent, and all kinds of great articles come up, and we'll explain that to you. A really cool place. But I digress. Up here, during the winter solstice, the moon shines here, reflects off of this table at a perfect angle, and lights up the entrance to the cave. Why is that important? Well, if you're a London or New York bondsman, knowing the winter solstice ain't important. But if you're living in an agricultural society, like all our ancestors did, knowing when to plant is critical, because if you plant at the wrong time, you don't eat. You don't eat, you don't live. So this was made to preserve mankind, most likely by Enki. And in fact, the shaman told us that his people, the Amaro, did not make this, that this was made by the Space Brothers, who were concerned about their survival. Here's a closer-up shot of the table. There are really some good shots on the internet that actually show the vitrification, the glassification here, that this thing must have been really beautiful at one time. Now, back to the front entrance, and back to this carving. This is incredible. You can see the eyes here. You can see the long trunk here. There's an ear over here. This is an ancient carving of an elephant at the entrance to this cave. There haven't been elephants in South America for over 10,000 years. Cave is very old, unequivocally. Even when we go up to Middle America, North America, and this is just in the Yucatan Peninsula, just outside of Cancun, Mexico. And this, we all know, is the famous pyramid of Chichen Itza. And this is during the summer solstice, and the sun shines, and it creates undulating snake here. Very sacred place to them. The serpent again, very, very sacred. So what does all this mean? Well, there is a snake connection, or serpent connection. It's in Africa, and it goes all the way to the Americas. Enki and his wife Ninmah. Enki, as you know, means snake. In fact, in Middle America, there are three main figures here: Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, and Viracocha. Kukulkan is Mayan, Viracocha is more in South America, more along the Lake Titicaca area. They're all the same person, clearly and unequivocally. Quetzalcoatl means serpent, Kukulkan and Mayan means serpent, and they're all saying the same thing about Viracocha. They're the same person. Different names, same person. And Viracocha was described as a white man with a beard, white hair. He came from afar and taught civilization, compassion, and justice. And he was known as the creator god. He made humans. And he left, and he said he would return someday. Well, here we go. The people, the Amaro people of Bolivia and Peru and this entire area, if you spoke Quechua, you would know that Amaro means sacred serpent. So they are described themselves as people of the sacred serpent, Enki. Just like Christians, those of Christ, or Muslims, those of Muhammad, Buddhists, those of Buddha. Now, Hebrew is a little different. It's a very old world, and there's some controversy as exactly what that means, okay? It doesn't mean a brew from Israel. But what most, or at least many Hebrew scholars and rabbis believe that the Hebrew means those of Ever, E-V-E-R. Who is Ever? Ever is the great-great-grandson of Moses, of which, obviously, Abraham was a descendant. So you can say Hebrew means those of Abraham. Even American Indians revere the snake and the serpent, and that's a whole nother talk. Anyways, we have Nahash, which is the Hebrew word that Moses selected to describe the serpent in the Garden of Eden. Buzor, which is a Sumerian epitaph of Enki, meaning the exact same thing. If you go to the dictionary, you'll say Nahash, it says see Buzor. If you go see Buzor, see Nahash. If you go to a Sumerian Hebrew. And they all mean Enki, this guy. And who really, most likely, was this guy also Viracocha. So, what does this mean? This means that there's a golden thread in our world that connects everything together, that explains where we came from, why we are here, and where we are going. It is extremely fascinating, and it just illustrates the importance of truly liberal education, being open-minded, understanding other languages and other people and other cultures. And you might find we're not so bright, and they're not so dumb. Anyways, you can read it here in this book here. This is Zecharia Sitchin. This is The Lost Realms. Great book. This is my book here, The Golden Thread That Weaves a Fabric of Reason. It's on Amazon.com. You can order it. You can get it on Kindle also, and if you decide you like it, you can share it for free on Kindle. I'm not a good businessman. In fact, I make no money promoting Zecharia Sitchin's book, and I really make no money promoting my book. The message is too important. It's about you. It's not about me. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this talk, and we'll do it again sometime.